So some time ago I made two different ranking videos. One was ranking every transformation in Death Battle, and one was ranking every transformation from a Dragon Ball episode of Death Battle. Though apparently I left out one that Killua did that I didn't know was a thing, and people argued that Arsene into Saturnile should count, and I admit that I probably should have in the video. But more importantly, I asked people wanted me to rank every transformation in 2025's lineup of Death Battle episodes, of which there are a nice, cozy 21. And I guess I'm doing that now. Depending on how many we get per year, this could be an annual thing, because I think the transformations will always be some of the highlights of any Death Battle episode. It's not unreasonable to see people talk about their favorite scene in Death Battle, and if it's not the death or the intro, chances are there's a good chance it could be the transformation, or a transformation that takes place in the episode. So let's do it. Let's rank all 21 transformations featured in Death Battle in the 2025 lineup. Let's get going. Number 21, Wrath Asura. Before we get started, because Asura makes up a majority of the bottom 6, I want to be clear that I mean no hatred towards Devil Artemis as a person or an animator. I feel important to note this after the relatively recent Reddit post wherein he aired out some of his grievances towards the community and how they've gone about quote-unquote critiquing his work for the show. While I personally do think Kratos vs. Asura is a bad episode and the only bad one of the indie era so far, I want to note it is not the only Devil Artemis headed episode. He even partially animated the episode that I worked on. As an animator, I have only respect for him, and while what I'm saying will be critical, it's not an attack on him. That said, I am an Australian, so sometimes I will be hyperbolic and say stuff like, Wrath Asura's transformation is kinda dookie. To my understanding, Asura going from this form almost immediately into Destructor makes no sense in the context of Asura's Wrath. But even without that, which I can't even confirm because I've not played it, I think this has to be one of the worst conveyed transformations because I'm not even sure if it was intended. Asura in Berserker form whinges like a bitch, hits an attack that does nothing at all on Kratos, and then the next we see him he's in Wrath form. Or at least I think, because he still has the glow to him that Berserker Asura does. All the clips of Wrath Asura I've seen have him be in a much duller, almost grayscale color. But I don't want to make it seem like I'm an authority on this, he could just glow in scenes that I've not seen. The issue is this could also just be Berserker Asura, but the extra glowy arms were forgotten or couldn't be rendered or just weren't included, maybe time constraints. At the end of the day though, Asura hits Kratos and one-shots himself into a weaker form, and the entire existence of this form is just getting frozen and one-shot again. A form change so bad that it might not even count or have even been intentional. And if it does, then it's just really badly conveyed and honestly doesn't do much. I really think Asura could have just stayed in Berserker for this. But even if he did, it wouldn't change the fact that all he does is hit Kratos once, do nothing, and get jaw-jacked and spifflicated. It would be a lot more sensible to me if Asura just stayed as regular Asura, but was so angry that he headbutt Kratos hard enough to knock them both into this dimension, and then armless Asura was still trying to have a go before getting punched into the horizon. To me, that would convey the tenacity and grit that I believe the character is supposed to have, while making his getting mogged absolutely acceptable, because we just saw Kratos taking on his stronger forms, so obviously a weakened state of his base form is going to get mopped up. Speaking of this scene though, number 20, Berserker Asura. I've talked about this scene before and why I don't like it. Asura gets mad that Mithra cried and attacks Kratos because he blames him for it. To me personally, him blaming Kratos despite himself being the instigator of the fight just makes him come across as kind of a whiny asshole who projects blame onto others. And I understand the logic, he knows of Kratos' past and assumes he was there to kill Mithra, even though Mithra clearly was not distressed at the time and she doesn't even attempt to clear things up. In fact, neither does Kratos, so you get some blame too, dickhead. Asura just attacking like this makes him come across like someone who is eager to jump to assumptions and lose himself to anger. All of this would be fine if the analysis didn't tell me something else. From the analysis, I got the impression that Asura was a relatively thoughtful individual who weaponized his anger for the greater good. Someone whose status as a mindless weapon and monster of wrath wasn't any more than something forced onto him. His circumstances made him use his anger as a weapon, but as an individual, his guiding light was using that anger as a shield for the innocent. This fight gave me the impression that he was someone prone to being engulfed in anger and hatred, someone quick to attack and blame others instead of accept his own mistakes. A man whose greatest weapon was his anger as a tool to destroy those he hated, and who easily jumped to assumptions and allowed anger to consume him. And was also an idiot that threw out punches with his fucking daughter in the blast radius of the impact. I'm not saying one or the other is accurate, but what I'm saying is that they directly contradict one another, and I don't like it when a fight conveys a character in a very different way to the analysis. It not only makes them seem disjointed, but it also makes it seem like the character was intentionally written wrong on purpose, despite accurate characterization being one of the most important things for fans of any given character. Even with all this ignored, Berserker Asura is a form that grabs Kratos, screams in his face, hits a single attack, and that's it. He KOs himself out of that form, and then Kratos is just fine. He does nothing, and the transformation is itself fairly weak. I appreciate that this is like the only time in the fight we get to see Asura's pupils, that's a neat detail, but after that we get Kratos on the untextured Ledge of Doom. He gives no verbal reaction to being grabbed or attacked, as if they didn't record enough Foley or something. Then again, they have basically no grunting sounds of Kratos getting hit at all in this fight, so I guess it's just continuing the trend of Kratos being unharmed by anything Asura does. And then I don't know. It's such a weird sequence overall, and these transformations are just terrible. Number 19, Mantra Asura. To my understanding, Mantra Asura is a small version of Asura the Destructor. During the final boss, this is the form that fights Chakravartin between the Destructor space fight and the final Gurren Lagann clash. This tells me that this is one of Asura's strongest forms, and a form on par with, or at least within the same ballpark of the Destructor. In the death pile though, Asura for once gets hit with an attack that doesn't harm him, and his response is to try and help Kratos look good by pretending like that was enough to warrant a power-up. He then throws out a bunch of attacks and instantly gets taken out. I'll note with an explosion that I don't think has a lot of impact. The screen barely shakes, the explosion itself doesn't get any sort of zoom out to imply scale, the grunt was weak, and the way Asura falls is kinda Looney Tunes-esque. But yeah, one of Asura's strongest forms shows up for a grand total of 11 seconds, wherein it throws out a barrage of attacks that do nothing and he instantly jobs. This is kinda just what Asura does all fight, but with this one it kind of hurts more. It doesn't help that the transformation itself is really sudden. The only reason I even put it above the other two is that those were really confusing as to whether he really changed between them at all, and also, at least Kratos had to hit Mantra Asura to make him power down. Mantra Asura didn't hit himself for anything. That said, to my understanding, it also doesn't make any sense for Asura to have the control and the power to enter Mantra form, and then immediately go into Berserker state, because from what I have heard, he should have the Mantra reactor at this point, and Berserker and Wrath wouldn't be possible to enter. Anyway, we can move past Asura now onto Number 18, Worldbreaker Hulk. I've purposely avoided talking about Hulk vs Godzilla where I could, because I want to avoid any potential biases I have from working on the episode. I don't want to do a review because I think it would be unfair on every other episode I've reviewed, and also I'm not sure what I can say and what I can't. In this case though, I had no input on the transformation scenes, I can judge them, I want to say fairly. I don't like Worldbreaker Hulk's transformation in the episode. I feel like with every Hulk episode, the Worldbreaker transformation has gotten weaker, and there's one big thing that makes me feel that way, the voice lines. In Hulk vs Doomsday, Hulk takes visible damage for the first time in the fight, and when Doomsday gets up having already regenerated from his own damage, Hulk just grits up and turns Worldbreaker. He's mad, it goes hard as fuck. His response to visibly seeing how unkillable his opponent is was to turn on Guilty Gear music and go, "Fuck you, I'll just kill you harder." Accompanied by a line in classic Hulk speech, with great delivery as Parker Bohan really puts his ass in and sounds like a monster losing control. Hulk vs Brawlers I don't necessarily think is bad, at least I don't right now, I might have before. It's the only one where Hulk is transforming because he's on the back foot. I like his non-reaction to the little ball, but the bit where he's motionlessly being pushed back by the big ball looks really silly and almost unfinished. The line is solid, not as good as the first episode, but it works in Hulk's strongest there is, which I like, and Nicholas Andrew Louis sells the line. He doesn't sound nearly as angry as Parker in Hulk's last episode, which I'm not big on, but he does sound grunty and fierce. The animation of him tossing the ball looks kinda shit, and I'm not sold on it launching him forward because it feels so weightless, but the actual moment of transformation isn't bad. Not very emphasized, but the line still works. Hulk vs Godzilla then goes through the approach where Hulk transforms, not because he's angry, and not because he needed to, but because he got hit with a huge dose of radiation and couldn't help it. This I like, it keeps all three distinct in their approach in terms of why Hulk transforms. I also like how it's all done in a single shot. Godzilla looms over Hulk, the camera pans up to Godzilla charging, it turns around to show Godzilla blasting Hulk, and then after sitting for a bit it zooms into Hulk roaring back. That's really cool. But I don't like anything else. For one thing, it's kind of hard to tell that Godzilla hit him at all. Hulk is so small relatively, and Godzilla is posed as if he's shooting straight forward, with the beam so small that Hulk should have just been unaffected, it would have gone over his head. I mean, look how close Hulk is to him literally earlier in this one shot, no way did he get hit. This might seem small to some, but I have seen people confused as to how Hulk got hit in the moment, and as an animator, I know that taking people out of the fight is not what anyone wants. But maybe worst of all is that I don't think Blythe Melon's Hulk voice is that great, just in general. Peter had the sound of a wrathful, rage-fueled monster. Nicholas had the voice of a grunty, snarling demon, and Blythe sounds just like a Hulk impersonator. He has the grunts and snarls down pat. When he delivers something like he's screaming his guts out or grunting in pain, he can sell it, but his line delivery is, I think, less something to be desired, and personally, I just don't think the line given here is any good for Hulk at all. "You think you're strong? I scarred the world," just feels wordy to me. Maybe it's accurate to Hulk's character, at least the form of Hulk that's saying it, but the delivery and the wordiness of it, as well as how he refers to himself in the first person, just, I don't know, makes it seem less impactful to me and has less oomph. Suffice to say, I don't like it. Also, I think this Hulk model looks shit. It's just the hair. It looks stupid. It makes me think of Amadeus Cho, but he's allowed to look that stupid because he's cool like that. Though I do like that the transformation makes Hulk visibly much bigger. This is the one time that actually mattered, so they conveyed it well. Number 17, 120% Deku. What can come up with such a lengthy list of problems and comparisons? Just a bit of a boring transformation, honestly. One that barely counts. Deku kinda does gear shift while the rest of the scene is focused on Miles. It doesn't do anything wrong in my opinion, it's just kind of been there, done that. There's no real need to criticize or praise here. It was clearly just thrown in for the sake of making sure you know it happened, and it's not meant to be a big deal. Number 16, 6-armed Vadra Asura. 6-armed Vadra actually lands good hits in, even if Kratos once again has no vocal grunts to sell any of it. The transformation itself is just okay. Asura and Kratos lock hands and the temple collapses like the like button once you're done smashing it, and next time we see Kratos with a blank stare lifting a rock out the way. We see a weirdly edited in button prompt that's so crusty that it thoughtfully remembered that it was bring your pink screen to work day, and Asura hits Kratos. Of course, with a punch that involves all 3 fists barely touching Kratos' face. That said, the actual panning shot of Asura with the title is pretty cool, and while he immediately gets sent flying in a shot that looks weird and awkward, the way in which he immediately speeds back is a great way to convey the far higher pacing of Asura's wrath. I think the transformation itself is fine. In concept it works, in execution it's definitely awkward and looks weird, but it has a good reveal shot and I think that's solid. Given this isn't one of the big transformations and it's just a starter one, that's all it needed. Number 15, Devil Trigger Dante. This one's here because it's a blink and you'll miss it. It's barely notable. It looks really fucking cool because the whole fight is rendered beautifully and colorfully. Plus, I think him riding down a wall on a motorcycle while Clive reacts with shock at whatever the hell a motorcycle is more fun than, say, Deku kneeling on the ground. You know, for how flashy Devil May Cry is, it's weird how low-key the Devil Triggers have been. In Dante vs Bayonetta, the low-keyness kinda works. This is Dante in the heat of the moment, worried that Trish might actually be hurt, dropping the goofball act and going full "this bitch is dead" mode. Something you can't really do with other episodes because Dante wouldn't give this reaction unless someone he's close to was in danger. Virgil is also low-key and not very flashy in his transformation, but that's what Virgil's like. Admittedly, I think the whole episode of Sephiroth vs Virgil kind of fails to convey that Virgil is what I can only describe as a closeted unserious. And then in Dante vs Clive, Dante has this incidental transformation, and Sin Devil Trigger, which doesn't have a transformation at all. I'll talk about it more later, but if I counted Sin Devil Trigger on its own, it'd only be a little bit above this one, because he doesn't transform on screen. His off-screen transformation is very incidental too. Number 14, Absolute Defense Mode Shigaraki. And this is the last of the kinda just there transformations with nothing to talk about. Mahito does all the aura farming and Shigaraki just transforms. It's the nicest looking in my opinion because unlike the last few, he actually transforms on screen with an animation that's not just an effect. But I don't have anything else to say, let's move on. Number 13, Mega Lucario. It is kind of like the others where it just sort of happens, but hey, at least it's the main focus of the scene and it looks great. He does an aura sphere, he takes 2 guys out, and yeah, that's about it. Not much to see here, but it looks great and that's all I need. Easily the second best Mega transformation on Death Battle so far. Number 12, Asura the Destructor. Here we are at the big moment of Kratos vs Asura on this list. It also happens to be where I'd say the outright good transformations begin. Which is weird because everything before and after this moment kinda sucks. Not only does Wrath Asura transform into the Destructor, so one has to assume he found a monster reactor in the horizon to install, but it does so with the hysterically bitch-made, "This is not my end!" And after his transformation finishes, he goes for a punch that Kratos really limply does the sumo reference to, and just kind of stops. Like, you can tell that he completely halted Asura's momentum within a single second. Asura barely pushed Kratos down, and then he holds him up with one hand and 2-shots him, because of course he does, Kratos is the epic funny boy. So why is this up here and not down with the others? I mean, look at this. Just look at this. This shot is genuinely breathtaking. Kratos is honestly taken aback for the first time. I mean, he's fought titans before, but none of them were ever this big. The way this swirling ring of rock helps add scale by being placed in front of Asura too. It helps convey the sheer size of him. This ring of rock wasn't here before. Asura transforming tore up a chunk of this weird meteor they're fighting on, and now it's orbiting near him. Kratos isn't even visible anymore. That crater is the entire place the two were fighting in. That's the world map. The all blue lighting with the gold glow of the halo behind him helps add a sense of majesty. It makes him pop in more. He feels like a fucking god. And his next move, to throw a punch that goes insane. The sound effect of the muffled explosion made by him just moving his arm is impeccable. Like you're hearing a titanic eruption of kinetic energy from light years away. So muffled now that it barely sounds like an explosion anymore, but the fact that you can hear it at all conveys the sheer magnitude of its origin point. It's such a shame this punch immediately loses all impact, because it had a lot of it at the get-go. It is maybe the biggest attack of the fight in terms of how it's conveyed, and this moment is carried up here on this list by how well it's done. It is my highlight of the fight. Number 11, Full Venom Charge Miles. This might surprise some people given I kind of ragged on the episode in my review. I'll admit I probably shouldn't have done that review while I was audibly unwell. I definitely didn't go into what I like about the episode as much as I should have. I think the episode is middling overall, because I do think there are a lot of good things that balance out my problems. This transformation is kind of the epitome of that. After several lines directly pulled from or referencing Spider-Verse, I just rolled my eyes when Miles said the "do my own thing" bit. It didn't really make much sense either. He was doing his own thing all fight. Nothing about what he's doing is more his own thing than anything else. This is the same problem I have with, oh, it's time for a Miles Morales original. Just, you know, this doesn't look like festering dog shit. No, the visuals on their own are probably the best part. The one Spider-Verse reference I actually like in this animation is that leap of faith. It's not just, look, he said or did the thing from the movie, but it's working Deku into the reference and entirely visual. It doesn't make me go, oh, like Spider-Verse. You know, don't watch the mouth, watch the hands. Okay, pointless Spider-Verse reference that has nothing to do with anything. Let's try that one more time. Oh, like when they're telling their origin stories of Spider-Verse, I guess that's a line. Leap of faith, but he said it in Spanish, so it's different. But this time, I actually like it a lot. It looks great, and the actual shot of Miles fully charging with Venom is cool. I like all the orange taking over the red, but then even bleeding into the black. It's a small detail that sells this power-up as going beyond what Miles is normally capable of. It almost feels like the vibranium itself has to absorb some of that excess energy because it's too much for Miles' own body to take. It's a really cool little visual. Deku, that's not how you spell Spider-Man though. I'm never gonna stop bringing that up. Number 10, Gigantamax Gengar. This one's kind of here out of spite. I like G-Max Gengar a lot. What I don't like is the depiction of G-Max where the Pokemon just shows up as their normal form but taller and then transform into G-Max. Like, the transformation I always thought was supposed to be the ball itself going giant and then they come out giant. This isn't inaccurate, I just don't like G-Max being conveyed like this. Still, the moment is really cool with Gengar appearing in Yugi's shadow and climbing out and being a silly Billy. I do think it's a bit let down by how this is done directly in reference to Slifer, and then Gengar never interacts with Slifer. He just takes out some guys and gets shrunk. Moment looks cool, it's very fun. I think the animation is uncomfortably smooth in the best way. Very gelatinous and fluid in an unnatural sense that makes sense for a ghost type just flopping around some vaguely physical form that's halfway to bleeding into the ground. So yeah, it's still good. Number 9, Godzilla Ultima. So while I recognize this isn't exactly accurate to canon, given the alternative was to not include Ultima at all, and thus just entirely exclude one of the largest non-film depictions of the character, or to just focus exclusively on Ultima all fight and kind of just be lame in the other sense where, oh, it's all Ultima, okay, I'm willing to accept the inaccuracy in this case. And also, I think the depiction is quite solid. Ultima does evolve into being after being killed in his anime. The reference is clearly there, but what an entrance he makes. Consider that Godzilla kinda jobs the entire first chunk of this. Never once does he actually injure Hulk, all he does is give him a power up with the one attack he actually lands. Hulk is just mutilating Godzilla all fight up to this point. He thunderclaps to launch himself down as a literal world-breaking meteor. Godzilla charges up for a Heisei spiral ray while doing the Monsterverse upwards blast, only for Hulk to rip straight through it and him in what would be a satisfying killing blow for any other episode. But in ripping him open, all the archetype is now seeping out of his body. Godzilla's next attack doesn't just injure Hulk for the first time, but it visibly scares and vaporizes him at once. And to help cover the time it takes for Ultima to actually appear after his previous form was destroyed, Hulk breaks the green door open and an unknown amount of time passes. We see nothing but a spiraling tornado of archetype. Banner kinda gets it, but then everything shakes, and from the mist, Ultima looms out. What a great setup that conveys the magnitude of Ultima, a monster that literally changes the game when he shows up. This isn't a power-up like a Super Saiyan or even a Worldbreaker. This is what happens when your opponent changes the rules on a dime to suit himself. This is its own thing, and I like that a lot. I think it's well conveyed and gets the magnitude of Ultima across. Bonus points, remembering that Ultima is a lot bigger than -1 Godzilla, so now Hulk is much smaller again. Number 8, Black Blood Dress Maka. This one isn't necessarily portrayed as anything special or spectacularly animated, but what it does is demonstrate the bond between Maka and Soul. When Maka is in trouble, her first thought is to rely on Soul, and Soul immediately gets to work with several shots that convey him doing so. And I love this one of him going to town, that's just fun. Bam, she's in Black Blood Dress. Maybe this one should be lower, there's not really much to say about it, but I like how it represents a strong bond between them, and it looks nice, so yeah. Number 7, Instant Body of Distorted Killing Mahito, a contender for the single best animated transformation. Most transformations naturally rely on some degree of visual trickery, a big effect or a zoom out or have it off screen or obscured. While this does that too, the effect is literally Mahito. The way the flesh looks rippling around and into him before the sudden flickering and reveal of this form, it's something else entirely, man. It's as equally badass as it is cold and gross. I also have an appreciation for any transformation that's not a result of the character being on the back foot and needing it. In this case, Mahito was just really getting into things. Yes, he realized that Shigaraki just tanked a Black Flash with no injury, and he needed to transform, but he wasn't coming back from being beaten down. No, Mahito transformed because he's just pressing his advantage. And that giggle sounds exactly what I expect from a guy who goes around touching children. Perfect delivery. It helps that he immediately finesses Shigaraki. Old Tomura is relying solely on his durability and regeneration for this moment. Mahito was absolutely eating his ass, and while Tomura was maybe a little old for his taste, he was clearly enjoying it. Also, while it doesn't count, shout out to the fucking insane domain expansion moment. Like, Mahito is so charismatic all fight. He only ever shows concern when an old man like All For One boots him out, and he realizes he was never the one in charge. Great transformation that adds to that wonderful diddly charisma. Number 6, Toppa Tengen Gurren Lagann. Even the worst of Simone vs Kyle's transformations is fucking peak. I love this moment, and it helps that Toppa Tengen is by far my favorite Gurren Lagann form. Going in with him breaking through several walls that Kyle put in his way, the spiral power going to max and Simone's glasses growing bigger for no reason because that's just kinda what happens. And then the shots of him breaking out of infinity and turning giant, what a moment! I do think the scream of the form's name is a bit weaker than I'd like. It's not really powerful or expressive, just kind of matter-of-factly. It's like, by the way, this is what it is. But then the shot of him through the crack in reality looking down upon finite existence is so cool. Such a great shot, and I love how this whole moment looks. It's just insanely hype moments in Aura, honestly. This isn't one of the more characterful ones though, which is why I give slightly more credit to... Number 5, White Lantern Kyle Rayner. Holy shit, this is so cool. For one thing, while Simone bashing through crystals and a shield is cool, I think Kyle's prelude is way cooler. The sense of scale as it zooms out to show all of reality eclipsed by the shadow of Gurren Lagann is impeccable. And then there's the equal parts amusing and cool bit of Simone realizing his attack didn't work and getting pushed back. Kyle might seem a bit like he has a "and now he's White Lantern" moment, but I love his grin and how it zooms out to show his constructed cosmic armor Superman. Combining how Superman is the hero that inspires all others in DC with Kyle's love for giant mecha, you can tell he summoned specifically the Thought robot based on the cheeks and other details. A blue lantern shield and green lantern sword only make it better, and to top it all off, I love Simone's response too. He just joins in on the aura and has fun. It's a perfect moment full of character and of course, a hype moment aura, so on and so forth. Just fantastic, I have no notes. Number 4, Ifrit Risen, and by extension Sin Devil Trigger, I guess. In terms of character writing, I think this is easily the best on the list. With Dante dragging Clive into the sky, calling him to bring out more power, though Dante's delivery feels weird to me, and Clive's perfect little, "so the devil cries out for more," which is extremely Clive to do. Love this dork. Perfectly delivered and with a great cry to Joshua. There is a bias to this moment that I'm not going to explain, but I think I'd still say it's great regardless of that bias. The actual moment of transformation is phenomenal. The beautiful flaming tornado and the gradual reveal of Ifrit as he roars, this cool ass pose, holy fuck. It's a fantastic combination of character writing and hype. Dante himself got a moment to bring up his brother in direct reference to Clive using Odin's powers, but also more importantly in a moment of combat. His relationship with Virgil is just that. He brings it up in relation to how it feels to fight him. That's what their relationship is. Clive's relationship with Joshua couldn't be any more different. He brings up Joshua as if to call for his brother across time and space to give him his power. Because while Dante relies on Virgil to give him a good fight, Clive relies on Joshua to aid him with the power of the Phoenix. Along with some of the best effects in the entire season and gorgeous animation, this one probably deserves the top place. But I think there are a few that I just thought were too cool to not get higher. Number 3, Zarathos. The line between this and Divine Spawn basically doesn't exist, and it could change depending on how far to the left or right I slept overnight. Zarathos' transformation is accompanied by one of the coldest lines in all of Death Battle. As simple as, yeah, you will, is the perfect, concise, yet raw as fuck response to, I'll be damned. I also love the actual animation, with Ghost Rider's head falling to the ground, the flames turning blue and his body being reformed from the fires of hell itself. What a badass way to transform. It's like he just got pissed off with Spawn and sick of his shit, so he decided to put his fucking ass down with raw power. The only thing holding it back is that, well, it's preluded by the stupid truck moment that, if intended as a joke about how dumb Spawn is, just looks shit. And followed by these really weird chains that look flat in 2D. He does get the really fucking funny get over here line though, highlight of the fight. All that said, I consider it about equal to Number 2, Divine Spawn. As said, not even a fine line separates this from the last one. There is no line. Divine Spawn's transformation is just so cool. The fires of hell overwhelm Albert, so he unleashes the light of God and brings heaven unto hell, with such a cool shot of him unfurling his new wings to show off. I love the exchange. Ghost Rider's line is so cool, but Spawn's response is perfect. The way the light behind Spawn looks so good, but also keeps his main body in shadow, allowing him to be well lit but paradoxically always in darkness, to match how he normally appears, while also visually getting across Ghost Rider's own line about the holy vestments not disguising his wickedness, by literally having the holy light of God not hide the darkness of Spawn is just, oh my god, it's perfect. Oh my god, it's so cool. It helps as well that right after we get some great action with Heaven and Hell taking over one another, depending on who's got the upper hand. Perfect bit of visual storytelling, and a fantastic visual in general. The literal split screen, the cool ass size gap, it's just in every way a perfect moment. And these two being so close to one another, oh, it's just perfect. My god, it's so cool. What could be cooler? Well, Number 1, Super Toppa Tengen Gurren Lagann. There might be a bit of bias as I do like Gurren Lagann more than anything Ghost Rider or Spawn, but this manages to be visually perfect as the last two with incredible character writing. Kyle Rayner using all the emotions on Simone, though living out willpower, anger and avarice for some reason, and Simone being affected by that only to be further motivated by the words of Kamina, animated gorgeously, and that giving him the strength to break out and power up further. It's a perfect character moment. I love the spiraling power breaking out of the limits of Gurren Lagann and wrapping around the whole mech. The appearance of it is so brief, but it's perfect. It looks gorgeous. The sound effects and portrayal of it are perfect. It stands out so much from the mathematical nothingscape behind it. It also helps that Kyle's response is so good, and that showing up and throwing a single attack thing is very accurate to what Super Toppa Tengen is just like. My only complaint is that, again, I don't think the shout for the name of the form was that impactful. It felt very stern again, and not very emotional, which given how the form comes to exist in this fight, feels off. But that's not a big deal. This is a gorgeous moment and one of my favorite transformations in Death Battle solely off of, say it with me, hype moments and aura. And that is my ranking of every transformation of Death Battle 2025. Tell me what you thought below, I guess, and tell me what you thought should have been on here. Should I have included Hell King Spawn, even though it looks exactly the same as normal Spawn, and I don't think he even transformed into it as much as just that's his default when he's in Hell? Let me know. Did I miss something? Maybe, but I don't think I did. I hope not. Don't tell me Asura has another fucking transformation I didn't notice was a thing. That's that video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. And that was that one. I mean, I always end these with like, that was that. Yeah, so that's 2 Death Battle videos out at the start of the year. First month of the year. I'm hoping to get some more out. Yeah, I've heard the announcement, obviously, of Ichigo versus Yusuke. I don't know how excited I am, but I'm happy to see that it's, you know, fucking sprite animation. Oh, my beloved sprites, they're back. Anyway, yeah, so hope you all enjoyed the video. It was fun to make more stuff on Death Battle. I want to do some more Death Battle rankings in certain fields and certain random shit. But, you know, we'll see when we get there. Obviously, there will be a ranking of every episode of 2025. It's just, there's a lot to talk about, and I don't know, I don't rewatch Death Battles as much as I used to, so, like, finding the motivation to rewatch something I've already seen again for Death Battle, to make the video, actually, it's not too bad, because I kind of already took notes and stuff. It's just, finding the motivation to actually make the video, because, like, I really like the season. But I feel like I said everything I needed to say in those reviews. Like, my reviews have gotten to a length. I guess they've always been this long, but I don't have as much new to say for the video, so I feel like it's going to come off as, like, very not in-depth, I guess. Except for Miles versus, Izuku, because I kind of want to right some wrongs with that, because I feel like that review was just really bad, and I didn't convey my thoughts properly. But yeah, so I might get around to the ranking. I mean, there's always a part of me that's tempted to just put the damn reviews in as a ranking, but I'm not going to do that. I've already written whole new segments for some of the episodes, so I'm going to have to just find the motivation to do that. And, you know, I have another ranking for every death battle in a certain sort of criterion, kind of like this one, but, like, all of them that qualify. And I feel like, yeah, the worst scene of every Death Battle 2025, in my opinion, that will probably happen at some point to continue on that trend. But yeah, for now, this is this one. There have been a lot of things I've been working on. Obviously, you know, like, I got to get my film theory ranking done. I got to finish watching film theory. It's been tough. I have, you know, the animated comic book movie ranking. At some point, I got to get to that. I got a couple more movie rankings I want to do. Of course, always hard at work with the next Not Death Battle, both Mario vs. Shane, which has been a huge project of passion, and a different one that's been maybe an even bigger project of passion. It's not even been announced yet. I mean, I guess it kind of has been, but, like, not properly, formally announced. It's like, yep, it's happening, it's coming out soon. But absolutely on the dockets that I'm really excited for, and I hope it's good. And as usual, Mewtwo vs. Cooler. It's still in the pipeline. Hopefully, people understand why it took so long once it eventually comes out in, like, 2028. And, you know, we got 2 more episodes after Mario Shane that have been announced. You know, if you know, you know. So, I'm working on Not Death Battle. And, yeah, eventually I'll get to the Mattel movie ranking. There's a lot of, like, ranking stuff to do, because I like making ranking videos on movies. It's nice to talk about some shit. But yeah, like, I have not even had time this month to really get into watching Kamen Rider Drive. So it's been a lot, mate. It's been a lot. But yeah, now, thank you everyone for going by on Patreon. It's been a great help. And if you support me on Patreon, you get access to these kind of videos early. Right now, I hope they should be my second half of my 2025 new media ranking up on Patreon. It is like 4 hours long, and there's a lot of random nonsense in it. But for now, you can also get access to my Patreon-only Discord. I mean, for now, as always, you can get access to my Patreon-only Discord via Patreon. But for now, I'm going to read out the stupid things, because people make me say stupid things. Let's just see what they've given me. That's cool, but I forgot asking. Fucking skeletons are back. Oh boy. Yeah, you know, I've got a physical one of these now. Just a physical skeleton that might show up in videos now if I do anything in live action. You are what you eat. No wonder I'm dead inside. Oh no! Not the IDF's strongest soldier. Is that a goated reference to my goats? Yeah, I think it is. I feel like I recognize this. Oh, that's, is that Magilu from Tales of Berseria? Yeah, I remember Magilu. She was fun. God. Mazi Gigaka, Miludin, Dodin, Nolaran, Du, something like that. I don't remember how it's pronounced. Magilu. God, what's Kyle Rayner's voice? Like, he's not got that interesting a voice. Like, how about you drill this? No, I'm not playing. The Uma Musume guys have gone fucking AI bro now. And that's really disappointing, because to me, they're not the Uma Musume guys. They're the fucking Grand Blue Fantasy guys. And I quite like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and I want to get Grand Blue Versus. But now I don't want to support them. They're fucking AI company, and the whole thing of like, oh, we won't put it in our products without prior notice. It's like, you just say you're not gonna do it. Don't go, oh, you'll know if we do it. We'll be very open with it. Like, that's great and all, but fuck off. It's a bottle of ibuprofen. Well, you know, it's been a bit. You should probably go drain them. Good luck. It's like you put awesome sauce on an epic plate of bodaciousness. That's gotta be one of those like hyper realistic Angry Birds, right? Like that. It looks like that. All right, I think that's everything. Oh, there's one more here. What's this one say? Right, it looks like it says Sabi Surprise, which, God, so many of you are going to totally understand that and think that's the funniest thing you ever heard. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, that was that. So, yeah, I mean, I hope that was mildly amusing. But, yeah, and because I forgot to mention earlier, yes, the Biggest Stomps Death Battle Season 6, 7, 8, that's all going to happen. I need to find a way to put in the fact that Zatanna versus Scarlet Witch, or not that one, Phoenix versus Raven. I completely forgot. That is an episode that goes, the only one who can win this fight is Raven. Like, Phoenix has no way to win, which is so funny. Considering they spend a whole, I mean, there is another one in, I think, Season 8, that spends a whole bit going about how close and tight the matchup is, and then ends on saying, only the winner has the capacity to kill the loser, and the loser can't do it, but can't do the same permanent damage back. Which, what a way to do an analysis where you spend the whole time going on and on about how close it is, and then casually drop at the end, oh yeah, by the way, the winner was the only one who could land a killing blow. Yeah, so I hope everyone's at least somewhat excited, and yes, there'll be Death Battle reviews. They always take precedent when new Death Battle drops. So, I just, you know, hope people look forward to what I have cooking, and hopefully I get it out somewhere on time. And yes, my game theory video didn't exactly do huge views, but it definitely got more views than usual. My channel's never quite recovered from, I remember people remember that, like, that period where, like, all YouTubers just started really dropping in views because of, like, TikTok and that. And like that kind of content became the thing, and like so basically every YouTuber on the platform just in views. Yeah, a lot of us never recovered from that, and I'm one of them. But even at 20k, yeah, it's better than usual these days, and I am definitely ready to make film theory, and if that goes well, food theory. And, you know, at that point, I might as well do style theory. It's not even 50 episodes of Mad Pat, so, yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed. Have a good one, folks. Take care.